Canada Jam Podcast Experience. This is James A. Paxton talking to you, going with Cameron Gwynn again.
What is up?
Quick question for you. Dale Earnhardt Jr. announced he will retire at the end of this year. Cameron, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had 0 championships. He is 32nd all-time in wins. He had 26 wins. What do you classify his career as in one word?
Disappointing.
I was going to classify it as disappointing, but
Unfulfilled maybe then?
it would be underachieving.
Underachieving.
I'm not going to say he had a disappointing career because that'd
That's
be unfair.
not a terrible career.
He had a good career. I expected him to do more.
You look at his dad, though. That's what it is.
You look at his dad, and what I talked about in the Facebook Live before the show and in the video, which you can check on our YouTube channel right now at Can Jam Experience, is I didn't compare him to his dad. I compared him to the average racer, and he still isn't as good as the average racer. He's just an average guy.
That's sad.
Great guy, great man. I wish him the luck in retirement, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. is an average racer. Nothing more.
What's up, everybody? Cam Gwynn here, talking at you with James A. Paxton. What's up, my dude?
How you doing?
Good, good, good.
I am so excited to do this show,
This
Cam.
is going to be a fun one. So this is what we are going to call the top 5 most either disappointing retirements or careers because of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. giving up the NASCAR. So we got a list. We each did this on our own separately, and neither of us know what the other is going to say. So this is going to be fun, right?
It's going to be a blast.
So
I'm very much looking forward to this.
Why don't we start at 5 and
Yes.
you go first?
You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. In the top 5 most disappointing sports careers, in our opinion, number 5 most disappointing has to go to Greg Oden. Greg Oden is a basketball player. He was a center. He was drafted number 1 overall by the Portland Trailblazers. First pick, first round, number 1 overall in 2007. He's 7 foot tall. He was about 260, 270 back then. He just came out of college as one of just the best ever. That's all I can say. He came out of college statistics in 1 year at Ohio State. He played 32 games. He averaged 10 rebounds a game. He averaged 16 points per game. He was just the center of a lifetime. He was drafted number 1 for a reason. He did everything right. You couldn't ask him to do any more. Greg Oden was just unbelievable. He was an All-American team member with Kevin Durant in 2007. Just you can't complain about a guy who did everything for you. You can't.
He just didn't have it, though.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
But you know,
Steve Kerr described him as a once-in-a-decade player.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr, the one with
Yep.
Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson on his team.
Yep. The one thing that is cool about Oden, though, is he knows he's done. He knows that there's no chance for him in the NBA. He went back to Ohio State, actually.
Yes, he's
He's
right now.
going back
He's
to get his
playing in
degree.
a league in China. I don't
Is
know
he?
what it's called,
Okay.
but he's playing in a league in China right now, and just his statistics, his ability to just. There was so much potential and so much disappointment is why he's number 5. I mean, this is unbelievable.
All right.
I don't like to see people do that. His professional statistics, he averaged 8 points overall, and 8 points per game, overall. 6.2 rebounds, 1.2 blocks. He was in legal trouble. I mean, this guy at one point was going to be one of the best. He was charged for battery for allegedly punching his ex-girlfriend in the face in 2014.
That's so bad.
He just doesn't. I don't understand
I
this.
don't think anyone does.
He was supposed to be one of the best, ended up being one of the worst.
Did the hype get to him, maybe? It's gotta
Maybe,
be it.
maybe.
That's got to be it.
But Greg Oden is number 5 on the top 5 disappointing sports careers.
For Jimmy Paxton. For Cameron Gwynn, number 5, and I think that we're both going to have this guy. He's a quarterback, just recently called it quits. Tony Romo.
No. Tony Romo was
You
most
don't-
disappointing?
You don't have him on there?
I can see it, but he's
Right.
not on my list.
Okay. I thought that was the one we were going to have same. So I don't think we're going to have any of the same then. So, yeah, Tony Romo was my disappointment just because he couldn't finish the job. He always had opportunities to, never could.
I understand. I
That's
understand your
the
pick.
reason why I'm most disappointed in him. And just the injuries, yeah, those aren't his fault. That's just it's a freak accident that happens. But the dude couldn't punch his ticket to go
No, he couldn't.
anywhere. He didn't get to an NFC Championship game. They always lost in the second round. He was not
He was never
how
there.
he should have been.
He was never
Exactly.
there.
In the big moments, he was not there.
No.
What more can you say from him? He was a good quarterback, but he definitely underachieved for what he should have been.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, it's not really a terrible choice for him to go to CBS. I'm sure he's going to do good in that.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll see. So let me hear number 4.
Number 4 is another basketball player. One guy who I extremely hate being a Kentucky basketball fan.
Oh.
As soon as I say the name, everyone's going to go back to 1992 and start crying a little bit. The number 4 most disappointing professional career. Now, I have to make this clear to you. This man is, I'll say it, the best college basketball player of all time. But his professional career wasn't there based on awards he had in college, based on his personal life in the pros, based on his professional career. He just couldn't do it. Number 4 on my list is Christian Laettner. Christian Laettner from Duke University. God, I hate this guy so much. Cameron.
Everybody does.
1992. You know the play, right?
Yeah.
Where they threw it full court with 2.1 seconds.
Right outside the free throw
He
line.
fakes to the left, goes to the right, pulls back, shoots it. Oh, he should never have been in the game. He stomped on my man's chest, Cameron. I hate Christian Laettner so much. It's so aggravating.
You know, they made that 30 for 30 just for you.
They probably made it for all of the state of Kentucky.
Dude, they made it
Oh
for
my
everybody. I can't name you anybody that's actually a fan of this guy unless they...
Duke University.
Yeah, that's about it.
Anyway, he played 4 years in college, and while I'm getting done with my rant here, this guy was unbelievable in college. Oh, my God. From 1988 to 1992, this man had an average of 16 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, and he had 21.5 points per game in his senior season, He has the NCAA tournament records for most points scored, which is 407, most free throws made, which is 142, most free throw attempts, which is 167. Cameron, that is an unbelievable free throw average. Can you tell me what his average is right now off quick math?
Off quick math? I'm gonna assume
85%.
Okay.
Most games won was 21, and most games played was 23. He won 21 out of 23 games he played. He was the USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year in 1991. They retired his number at Duke University. He was an unbelievable college player. I can't tell you how much Christian Laettner was supposed to just thrive in the world. 1992, he was round 1, 3rd overall pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves. He went from living in North Carolina on the coast, being coached by Coach Krzyzewski, to pretty much hell in the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I wouldn't say hell. If hell froze over, then yeah, that makes sense. But,
You want to live in Minnesota?
you know,
Okay.
Michigan's bad enough.
All right. He just didn't have a professional career worth talking about.
No.
He was on so many different teams. He went from Minnesota to Atlanta to the Pistons to the Mavericks to the Wizards to the Heat. I mean, he was
He never
on
had anything.
6 different teams.
Never had anything.
He was a one-time All-Star in 1997 when he was with Atlanta. He has no championship rings. He wasn't a playoff performer. His statistics show you he wasn't all there. He had 12.8 points per game. He had 2.6 assists. Looking at his college career, you would expect Christian Laettner to win multiple championships, multiple
Do
All-Stars,
something.
maybe an MVP.
Do something.
Which is why Christian Laettner is my number 4 out of top 5 disappointing professional careers.
Alrighty. My number 4 is... It takes almost a completely different route from Christian Laettner. A lot of people loved this guy. He was actually a great player. It's just he didn't... It's kind of like Tony Romo. He didn't perform in the big games, or either his teammates let him down or whatever. But that's Allen Iverson. AI to me is disappointing.
Allen Iverson is
I
a
think-
disappointing professional career?
Not career in general, but the fact that he never won a ring with the talent that he has.
I think
and
that's
how
the
much he
only
talks
reason
to-
you're calling him
he talks-
disappointing.
No, I'm disappointed.
Arguably top 10 point guard
I'm-
at all time in basketball.
Yep, but I don't like how he carried himself. He carried himself like, let's just be honest, he was an ass.
He was an ass.
He was the. That's why people didn't want
He
to
had
play
an
with him.
unbelievable career at
That's
Georgetown,
what
an
it was.
unbelievable career.
But
He was an MVP.
yes, but people didn't want to play with him to a certain point
No,
because of who
I will
he
agree with
was.
you. I will
That's-
agree with
that's
you.
Why I'm
There's no way
disappointed
you
in
can
him.
call his career disappointing.
No, his career wasn't disappointing. I'm disappointed in the person he is.
That's unreal, man. It's a terrible pick.
He,
I'm going to
he
veto
was-
that pick.
He was one of those people that you loved because he was great, but you hated playing with him because of who he was. He was one of those people that just always needed to be on the ball, and if he didn't get the ball enough, he got pissed off, and he didn't like it. You actually are writing that down.
I'm vetoing your pick.
Cam Vito Iverson.
I'm vetoing your pick.
It's
There's
just-
no way
there's-
you can
it's
call
because-
him
It's because of who he was as a person and the fact that he never won a ring. If he would have won
MVP.
if he would have MVP.
He was-
in
he
2000,
took the
he was
76ers
96,
to
97
a
Rookie of the
championship.
Year. Yes, he was 11-time All-Star. I understand all that.
24,368
Where's the
points. I understand your argument with where's the ring. Excuse me. But he had a really good career. You had to
He
say
would have had an even better career though if he wasn't an ass.
yes, I agree
That's
with that.
what it is. That's what gets to me. I liked him as a player. He was a great player. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was a bad player and his
There's no way you could
his
call his career
playing
disappointing.
ability was
You could call it
disappointing. was
underachieving.
very underachieving, which is disappointing in my book.
No way you can call that disappointing.
I was disappointed.
I'm not disappointed.
He's even got a song by Post Malone where he's saying, "I need that money like the ring I never won." He was one of those players that was. It seemed like he liked the money and he liked the attention he was getting, but like
Veto
the
Allen
that's fine.
Iverson.
Go for it. Veto it.
You have a veto on mine.
'Kay.
I want to make it clear. We each have one veto, and at the end we're each going to say the best position we put us in.
'Kay.
Okay. I veto that pick
Go ahead.
before I even
Go
hear
for
the
it.
other three.
Go for it.
You want me to do number 3?
Yes.
Number 3 on my top 5 disappointing careers is Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf was drafted round 1, pick 2. He was right behind Peyton Manning. That's
Ooh.
right behind Peyton Manning. He played at Washington State. He was a great college player. Oh, my God, a great. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist in his junior year. He is ranked by many people as the great draft bust. But people say that without even looking at his college statistics. The man put up amazing numbers. He had 3,968, so I'll say 4,000 yards in his last junior season. He had 34 touchdowns that year. He played really good. And it makes me sad because he wasn't amazing, but he played really good. Right behind Peyton Manning, gets drafted by the San Diego Chargers in 1998. His numbers are terrible. He was 317 completions to 655 attempts. He had 14 touchdowns and 36 interceptions in the pros. Is that good?
That's atrocious.
His passing rating was 50, and his career NFL statistics was 3,666 passing yards. I want to revert back. In Washington State, he almost had 4,000 yards in one season. His career didn't even have 4,000 yards. He was terrible to media members. He was in a altercation many times. The one big altercation is he threw a media member against the lockers.
Huh.
I mean, this
That's
guy's
awesome. This guy's a real man's man.
This guy was awful. He didn't really do anything worth his college career in 98. He was indicted of burglary, and he got convicted of burglary. And when you have a guy who was supposed to be an amazing quarterback, but wasn't, was in the same conversation as Peyton Manning, didn't even fulfill any of it,
Oh,
had
close.
had more than twice as many interceptions than touchdowns.
Peyton Manning has more skill in his pinky toe than he did.
Clearly. And I look at Ryan Leaf. He's number 3. He could be higher, but the reason I rank him number 3 is he wasn't supposed to be amazing. He was just supposed to be a lifetime quarterback.
Yes.
I saw him being something as Matthew Stafford,
Something where he's consistent,
but has potential.
has potential.
Matthew Stafford could win a Super Bowl ring. He could one day win a Super Bowl ring. Ryan Leaf could have won a Super Bowl ring. Instead, football just totally knocked him down. Number 3 on my top 5 most disappointing professional careers.
Number 3 on mine is a different kind of football. It's what they call it in England. They call it football. Nice, beautiful game of soccer.
Awesome.
This guy from England played for Manchester United, played for Everton for a little bit. The only thing that he has won is a Champions League in 07-08. But the dude also had Ronaldo and Carlos Tevez on his team. Two
Right.
players that are just outstanding, that demand the ball, that are great on the ball. So who is this guy? Wayne Rooney.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
He is such a disappointing person.
I understand he's won a championship, but that's a good pick.
The only championship he's won is the Champions League. He didn't win anything in the Premier League. He hasn't done anything for England. Sure, he's scored 53 goals in 119 games. That's not terrible. But where are you when they're in the semis? Where are you when they're in the finals? Where are you? You might as well be on the bench. You would have done the team more of a service if you were on the bench, like you are with Manchester United. Oh, wait, maybe they figured it out before anyone else did. This guy doesn't belong on the field.
No.
He's not good. And, yeah, sure, Champions League, that is a good tournament to win. But when you got Ronaldo and Tevez on that team, and that's when Tevez was in his prime, let me make sure that's clear, you need to perform way more if you want to be in the same group as them.
Right.
And he didn't. Absolutely did not. So that quick spiel, Wayne Rooney.
I like that pick.
That was,
I like that pick a lot.
and it makes me so mad because like a lot of soccer fans are like, dude, Wayne Rooney's good. What are you talking about? Dude, he's not.
When you have players like that on your team.
Exactly. And who does Man United have right now? They got Zlatan, who is actually hurt, but, they still had him. They got Pogba. They got other players that are going to take over. And, dude, he's been dust since Ronaldo left. It's atrocious, the career he's had. So, Wayne Rooney, that's my pick.
All right, number 2 from mine is more based on name, more based on potential. And, frankly, my top 2 are just people I wouldn't like.
Okay. My top 2 are more sad.
It's Brian the Boz Bosworth is number 2. He was a linebacker at Oklahoma. You know the Boz.
The Boz.
I mean, he was in the mid-'80s. He won the Dick Butkus Award in 1985 and 1986. He was 2
It's a good award.
consistent All-Americans, 85, 86 All-American. He was an academic All-American in 1986.
It's pretty good.
He was an unbelievable college player, but he was a dumbass. I mean, unbelievably idiot.
I don't know if you can say that when he was an academic All-American, though.
No, he was. I'll say it this way. He got in trouble for steroid use.
Idiot.
His biggest thing was, which you might not even know about this, he had to sit out of the Orange Bowl.
Why?
Injury.
What?
Leg injury.
Okay.
He had a severe injury, could not play in the Orange Bowl anymore. So while he's on the bench, he has a T-shirt on. National Communist Against Athletes.
That is
NCAA.
amazing. That is amazing. He wore that shirt during the Orange Bowl.
He wore that shirt.
This guy, what?
No, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I knew he was injured that year and he couldn't play. He couldn't play because he tested positive for steroids. So after he tested positive for steroids, he
Man.
couldn't play in the Orange Bowl. That's my
Man.
mistake to everyone.
Hey,
It was an
as
injury.
As long as it's not diluted urine, it's okay.
He tested positive for steroid use. Then he went to the NFL and had a disappointing career. He played for the Seattle Seahawks from 1987 to 1989. He could not live up to the college expectations. And he had a severe shoulder injury and couldn't come back from that. Yeah, he did pretty much get retired from injury, but many people say that he's not in the league anymore based on the steroid use that he had. And
Which makes him an idiot.
yes, that's why I didn't really like him. He's number 2 on my most disappointing because of too much of a joke. He was just too much of an overall joke when you look at it. He could have been an unbelievable linebacker that anyone wanted on their team, but no rings, couldn't play in college because of steroid use, decided not to try to come back from his steroid use, decided to just be himself.
That's okay.
Maybe one of the worst people at being himself. Number 2 is Brian the Boz Bosworth.
So my number 2, like I mentioned, kind of sad actually, which makes it a disappointment that the career had to end.
Okay.
Hockey player. had a pretty good career. Won 3 cups with the Hawks. Scored 65 goals. He had 70 assists in his 9-year career. He ended his career in Carolina last season. Who is this man? Brian Bicknell.
That
Or
is Brian.
Bickle.
Yeah.
Bickle.
Yeah.
Brian Bickle. He had to end his career due to MS, which is multiple sclerosis, which is where the immune system starts to attack your nervous system, and it could cause paralysis. It could cause loss of vision. It's just one of those unfortunate diseases. Nobody knows where it comes from. Nobody knows really any way to get rid of it. It's just one of those things where it just starts to shut down your body, and it's very sad that his career had to end because, like I said, he had a good career. He won 3 cups with the Hawks. That's pretty good. Not many NHL players can say that they even have a Stanley Cup championship, and he's got 3. It's sad that he had to go, and that's why he's my number 2, because it's just disappointing that he had to end his career.
I don't think it's necessarily disappointment on the way we're talking about, where we expected more, but he
Right, it's
definitely
just-
was up there
Exactly.
with the disappointing careers. My number 1 is definitely someone that has the most disappointing career I've ever seen in my life. Terrible human being. Don't like the way he acts. Don't like seeing him in news. Every time I hear his name, I go, shut up. I can't stand this
Are
guy.
we talking about LeVar Ball again?
No.
Damn.
It's up there. But let me tell you this. This is why he's most disappointing. This is the awards he won in college. Heisman Trophy 2012.
Not bad.
Davey O'Brien Award 2012.
Not bad.
Manning Award 2012.
Not bad.
Associated Press Player of the Year 2012.
Not bad.
Sporting News Player
I
2012.
think I know where this is.
SEC Offensive Player of the Year
I
2012.
think I know where you're at.
All-American Quarterback 2012. 2-time first-time All-SEC 2012 and 2013.
I think I know where you're at with this.
You want to take a guess?
Does he have a nickname where it says football in it?
He does.
Is it my boy, Johnny Manziel?
It's your boy Johnny Manziel.
Mr. Scooby-Doo at the Texas parties?
Oh, shut up. In 2012 and 2013, in his 2 years at college in Texas A&M, he had 3,706 passing yards first year, 4,114 passing yards. He ended with 7,820 passing yards in 2 years.
Dude was a beast in college.
He had 37 touchdowns in 1 year.
Dude was a beast
It's
in college.
unbelievable. He had 21 rushing yards in that first year, 9 rushing in his second. He was supposed to be amazing. He got in trouble for signing autographs. You know what they did to him? They suspended him by half against Rice. They should have cut his leg off against Rice. That would have made a difference. Johnny Manziel had a rich daddy, a rich family, a rich go to college here, do whatever you want. He could have done anything he ever wanted. He decided to be a jackass. That's what Johnny Manziel decided to be. I can't stand him as a person. He got to the pros. He was drafted first round, 22nd overall to the Cleveland Browns. He complained about coaches so many times. He complained about everything. He got in trouble for parties. He got kicked off the team. His manager didn't even want to manage him anymore. He is by far the most disappointing sports career I can ever talk about because he was such a disappointment.
I think so. I think that's a good one.
His career had 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions passing for Cleveland. He had 1 rushing touchdown.
That's awesome.
He had 1,675. He's more disappointing
What a
because
stud.
what he's done. Like, he's been addicted to drugs. He's been addicted to alcohol. He didn't like the people he played for. He didn't like the organizations he played for. He had so many chances in life. He has so many chances now, and he didn't use them. He didn't use any of his chances. He's by far the most disappointing sports career. And as I say that, before we go to your number 1, what is one veto that you have from my list?
Repeat number 3 for me.
Ryan Leaf, quarterback.
Nope, not Ryan Leaf. The Boz.
The boss. Okay, you
It's-
vetoed the boss.
I vetoed that because he tested positive for steroids in college.
Right.
Why would you want to take a risk on somebody who tested positive for steroids in
That's
college?
fair. That's fair.
That's why I'm gonna
I
veto
veto
that.
Iverson. You veto Brian the Boz. What was your favorite pick of mine?
Johnny Manziel is a great pick.
Yeah, definitely.
It's somebody that I was thinking, but I thought it would be too obvious. But no, that was a good pick.
yeah, it's
Everything-
obviously the worst, the most
it's
disappointing
gotta
career
be.
ever. Yeah.
It's gotta be. So my number 1, and like I said, I kind of taken a different route on disappointing. I'm disappointed that it had to end. This is a person who played baseball. Had a 4-year career. He had a 1.51 ERA. That's not bad for 4 years. It's pretty good. He had 589 strikeouts in 4 years. That's not bad. It's pretty good. This guy it's somebody who was mourned for days, beloved in Florida, played for the Marlins. You know where I'm going with this.
I wrote a piece about how he affected baseball.
So this man is Jose Fernandez.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad that it had to end because this guy, I loved watching him pitch. I would purposely make sure that I could see him pitch. I would watch the Marlins just to watch him pitch. I was a fan of this man. He's a great guy. He was a good guy off and on the field. He had a baby on the way with his, I believe, girlfriend, yes. But he died in a boating accident
where
in
he
September.
Was cocaine and alcohol was through his system.
Yes, which is very disappointing. It's sad. The man was great though. He was on the way to having a great career.
Yeah.
He really was. And that's what's more disappointing than anything else is we couldn't see him live up to that. The man could have been a legend. He could have been one of the best pitchers in league history. But that's why he's my number one, because of all the upside he had, and it had to be cut early.
All right, I'm gonna veto your Allen Iverson, but I really like the Rooney one.
You do like the Rooney?
That's a good Rooney one.
Dude, people make me so mad. Those Man United fans that thought he was a god amongst men. I have a better first touch on the ball than he does sometimes.
Right, you are. Top 5 disappointing careers. Greg Oden, Christian Laettner, Ryan Leaf, Brian the Boz Bosworth, and number 1 for me was Johnny Manziel. Definitely the most disappointing
That's
career.
got to be.
That you're gonna say mine's number 1?
It's got to be. In my 5, it's Tony Romo, Allen Iverson, which you hated, Brian Bickle, Wayne Rooney, sorry, that was out of order, and Jose Fernandez. But that's all the time we got. Most disappointing careers or end of careers. This is Cameron Gwynn talking at you. James Paxton was here with me. Thank you, everybody, for listening.